Okay, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you can view me live from. My name is Peace Obuago Abaimo, and I'm your host on the weekly regular Talk with Peace live show. Okay, this is a beautiful Thursday afternoon in the city of Lagos. So, who do I have in the house? Is anyone in the house? Can anybody view me? Do I have guests, viewers already? I want to quickly do a brief talk, like I always do before I bring on my guests. And as God will have it, for the first time today, my guest is already seated, like we say, seated, almost like, physically, she's seated in the building. I can view her, and that gives me so much excitement. Okay, so let me quickly say that for as many as are joining, hi, Emmanuel Akondari, God bless you for joining. God bless you. Mwah. Thank you for being a part of our show today. I was going to say that as many as are joining the show, please do me a favor and share the link. Just click the share button. You're doing absolutely no job than to click the share button to this video. Okay, so I actually want to also appreciate everyone who has been a part of this journey. We started last year, April, and to the glory of God, it's almost a year. I'm hoping that by the time we clock 1 year in April this year, we'll be able to have a big party to celebrate this venture. They say nothing ventured, nothing gained. Okay, so we've been running this, one season after the other for about a year now. Isn't that amazing? I want to thank God for the grace to stay consistent with dishing out the topics that we've had to dish out. I also want to quickly appreciate everyone that has come as a guest on this show. Sometimes my friends who are abroad call me to ask how much I pay my guests, and I'm like, I pay them nothing except thank you and God bless you. Of course, because of our religious backgrounds here, we know that those are bigger than any amount of money that you can give to anyone. But then out there where every second, every minute counts, I just want to appreciate them from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this journey, for coming every time I call. It's not every time that you get people to attend. Everybody is busy doing one thing or the other. If they're not attending to their personal lives, they're attending to family, or they're attending to one thing or the other. So to get people to come on this show is really a blessing, and I want to thank you all. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. I may not be able to give you gifts in monetary value, with monetary value, but just know that I bless you from my heart, and heaven respects every effort you've put in to make this show stand till date. God bless you. Yeah, thank you, ID. Is that ID? He says, great sincere talk. God bless you. So please, as soon as you join, I'd like you to just click the share button, and let's have more people joining. For the few times that we've had a lot of viewers joining, they made it interactive and made it more interesting. So please let more people join in. Just click the share button. And for as many that watch this broadcast after we've done the live, I want to appreciate you too. God bless you all. Thank you, Dumebi. You've been there too. Thank you so much. God bless you. I appreciate you. Okay, so today we're discussing is it singlehood or singleness? I think it's singlehood. Last week we did a little bit of a talk on what was it again, on love making. I had a lot of reviews. I had people who said, why did you touch that kind of topic, like it's a dirty topic? And I did say to them, you're not holier than God, who created the sex organs and decided that it was necessary for humans to have them. Okay, so if you think it's unholy to discuss them, I can't help you, but I do know from some of the reviews and feedbacks that I got to, that a lot of people were blessed. And I want to appreciate my guest for last week, Mrs. Omolola Natural, for keeping it natural. She kept it 100% real. Okay, so there may have been things that she said that may sound controversial, and I cannot say that I completely, totally agree with everything that she said. Okay, but she shared her views, and I do believe that she touched as well on the views of a whole lot of people. I was able to do some give some clarity to some of the things that people find ambiguous when it comes to the issue of lovemaking. So I want to quickly appreciate her. So thank you to everyone who is already engaging the session today. I'd also like for you to indicate in the comment section where you're watching me live from. It would give me a lot of pleasure to know that you're watching from different corners of the world, and to also give you a shout out. Okay, so it's 5 minutes past the hour of 1 o'clock, and I'm going to be bringing on my guest, because why keep her waiting? She came on time. Okay, usually I used to take some time to talk while I wait for my guest, but today my guest arrived before me. Can you imagine that? Who does that? Okay, so I'm going to be bringing her on, and with Jesus joy, like we say, I'm bringing onto the live stream Pastor Mrs. Joy Ejisun. Mommy, good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Okay, I cannot hear you. Okay, yes, yes. Okay, so the volume is there now. I'm excited. I'm not just fine, I'm excited. I'm happy to have you, ma.
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure
Yes,
to
ma.
be
Thank
here.
you for joining.
Thank you.
Okay, so let me quickly, I do not have mommy's resume or bio to read out to us, but I'll just introduce her from the point that I got to know her. Okay, so some years ago, over 10 years now, over 10 years, because my son, who I was pregnant with when I was running that program, will be 10 this year, next month, to the
Wow.
glory of God. So how time flies. Okay, so from my former church, Realm of Glory International, I had to run a Bible program, a Bible school program. And then while we were in class, one glorious day, we had the ministry of a man of God who, of course, that was not the first time I was meeting Daddy Ejisun. I think he had come to minister in church at some point before that time, and then it was exciting. His messages, his practical, of course, just like Daddy in the house, like Daddy Ayedogbo. The practical way with which he delivered the word was it drew me, and so to now meet you as well, taking a topic on, I think it was also a topic on singles with purpose or something of the sort during the Bible school. I was like,
Sorry.
wow, Daddy and mommy took a session on marriage and then touched on singleness and singlehood and all that. So when this topic came to mind, I was like, okay, why not reach out to mommy and have her come do justice? Because what I had then was also just a crash course.
Okay.
And then now we have about a few minutes, short of an hour, to quickly delve into the topic. Okay, so mommy is married to Daddy Ejisun, and they both pastor one of the Realm of Glory churches in Kogi State, if I did Kogi right, or in
Yeah.
Calabar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm correct. Yay. Okay, so my my memory still serves me. Okay, so and they are blessed with children, grandchildren. They are blessed with multiple children all over the world, including online, and you know, you name it. So please join me. If your hands are not busy, I know, of course, it's not a physical gathering, but wherever you are, please help me welcome. You can also put the clap emoji in the comment section to welcome Mommy Joy Ejisun to the show.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Thank
much,
you.
Ma, and
Thank
welcome.
you.
Okay, so I don't know if there are some things you'd like to say as we start the show before we delve into the main topic.
Okay, about myself or
Yes,
about
ma'am. No,
okay,
about you.
by the grace of God,
Yeah.
I've been married for above 36. Our marriage was 36
Okay.
years. Last year,
Wow.
August, and by the grace of God,
Wow.
first year in our life, our marriage will be 37. And
Wow.
I'm a professional counselor. I read guidance and counseling
Amazing.
in school, and
Amazing.
I'm a marriage counselor. So,
Okay.
and I feel by the grace of God that I have something to offer to my generation, to have
Yes,
been in
ma'am.
marriage for the past 36 years. And
Yeah.
I'm a mother, a grandmother, and
Right.
I'm a speaker too, a writer and an author. In fact, I wrote a book
Wow.
last year on the enlightened singles. And my
Oh,
second
wow.
book, Yes, my second book, by the grace of God, will be out this year. And that is The Enlightened Parent. The focal point there is child rearing, but
Wow.
the book is The Enlightened Parent. I think
Okay.
by what I've learned, both in my environment, in the school, and by experience, I think when it comes to this area, I believe God has helped me and I have something
Amazing.
to offer to the glory
Oh,
of God.
thank you. Thank you so much. You see, now this gives more credence to the fact that, you see, the Spirit of God is one. Usually, when a topic drops and I reach out to someone, this is not the first time. It turns out that they have been specially prepared by God. They have been specially prepared by God for the topic. So, with all confidence, we delve into the topic. Okay, so last week, mommy, we talked to married people about the art of lovemaking, and there were a whole lot of that, stemming from the Valentine's seasons and all that. I don't want us to start discussing what is being single. That might be obvious to so many, but then again, we may actually think it's obvious to so many, but then there could also be a more in-depth definition to the word being single than what we, all assume that the word being single is. So maybe we should just start from asking, who is a single person? Is there an age for it? Is there who is a single person?
Okay. If I'm asked
Yes, ma'am.
who is a single person, I will say a
Yes,
single
ma'am.
person is someone that is not legally married.
Okay.
And a single person can be a man, a woman,
Okay.
and it goes beyond just being unmarried. A single
Okay.
person is somebody that is not actually involved in any stable sexual relationship.
Okay.
You are
Okay.
not married legally, and you are not
Okay.
involved in any stable sexual relationship. You can't
Okay.
be involved in a stable sexual relationship and say you are single. You are not completely
Right.
single.
Right.
Outside the fact that legally, if you are not married,
Mm-hmm.
you are not married, so you are single. And I want to
Okay.
involve some people as single. If you are divorced, you are
Okay.
single. It doesn't matter whether
Okay.
in the former marriage you have children or you don't have
Mm.
children. You
Okay.
are single by the law. Then
Okay.
a widow or a widower, you might have the mentality or your tradition might tell you that you are married, but in the real sense of the
Mm.
law, you are not married.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Because
Wow.
once your spouse is late, there's nothing like marriage. The
Binding
marriage
you anymore.
binding is no more binding. So your tradition,
Mm.
your culture might say you are married, you are our wife, you are our husband, but in reality,
Mm.
in the eye of the law, you are single. Or
Wow.
because you have a son or a child as a single
Or even
father
children.
or
Okay.
children does not make
Mm-hmm.
you married.
Wow.
So if
Wow.
I'm to talk about being single, I will say is a state of not being legally married or being
Okay.
involved in a stable sexual relationship. I think
Okay.
that takes care of it.
Amazing. That's a good one. That's a real good one. Okay, before we go on, let me quickly appreciate Oladele Oyediran, Prince Aderogba Ajani, and Popola Titilayo for joining us. Okay, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. Stay on the session so that you can get all that is going to be shared. Okay, so moving on. You talked about there was a clause when you talked about not being sexually entangled or something of the
In
sort.
the
So that
stable sexual
stable
relation.
sexual relation. Cool. So if people are cohabiting, they are not single,
They are
obviously.
not married, but you can't say that person
They're
is
is
actually
single.
single.
All right. Okay. Okay, no problem. So we needed to put that out there. So for all the cases that she has mentioned now, if you do not fall into any of them, know that you're single. And if you do fall in any of them, you need to go have yourself figured out some way or the other. Okay, so mommy, today we're talking about being single and loving it. How can a single person enjoy their singlehood? Because in the post that I put out when I shared the flyer, I have a cousin, a young girl. Like I said, a few years just after I got married, she came to visit, and then she probably felt, oh, you have arrived. You're the madam of your own house. I also want to get married. Okay, so there were things I couldn't write because I had to keep the post short. Okay, so because I kept asking, why do you think the very next thing to do now is to get married? Yeah, I talked about a whole couple of other things that she could be doing at that time. But funny enough, the only thing on her mind was to settle down. And we have a lot of people like that. So I think we're going to be looking at it from one or two different angles. When is somebody okay? How should a single person enjoy singlehood? And when should they begin to think, oh, okay, it's time, for me to get settled? I don't know. We can look at it from those two
Okay.
angles. Yes,
You
ma'am.
know, the Bible says something. They say, as a man thinketh, so he
Yeah,
is.
that's
You see,
right.
what affects singles is their mindset. Because
Mm,
in society, our culture, and so many things try to put pressure on us. And our
yeah,
culture, the society makes us feel that until we are married, our life is not complete, nor our
right.
life fulfilled. But I want
Mm-hmm.
to say that you can even be married and not fulfilled.
That's right.
And
So
it's
true.
how your single goes that affects your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say before there was marriage, God created singlehood.
That's right.
That is to say, in God's agenda, to be single comes as a priority before marriage.
Okay.
Forget about what our society is saying. When God created Adam and asked Adam to cultivate the land, Eve was not there.
True.
And Adam was fulfilled. Adam never knew he lacked something. He was busy enjoying himself. So
Mm,
we are not enjoying our single life because we feel we can't be fulfilled without getting married. And I don't know where
mm,
that is coming. Maybe it's a cultural issue or the society.
right.
So for any single to fulfill their purpose, the question is what comes first before marriage? You have to be single.
Okay.
If you are
Yeah,
not completely single and not being single at the right way, you can't be fulfilled in marriage.
that's right.
Because even in
That's right.
that marriage, you have to add value to that marriage, or else marriage becomes useless.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you enjoy your single? You have to speak to yourself that being single is a blessing
That's right.
because it's when you are single that you have time, you have to invest. Sorry, not you have time. It's during that singlehood that God gives you a privilege to lay foundation for your married life.
Okay.
So we have to tell ourselves the truth and say, what did God create before marriage? Singleness.
Okay. Single.
Adam was single. It was a priority. So what was he doing before Eve came?
Okay.
So if singleness is not a good thing, then God will have created Adam and Eve the same time.
At the same time.
So I
True.
feel why they are not enjoying their single life is because they don't have the right orientation. And
Mm,
by
I
the way,
agree.
for those that are Christian, did Jesus marry? No. Was
No.
he fulfilled? Yes.
Yes.
So every single person can enjoy their life without getting married, waiting for the right time. I don't know if, and what can they do when they are not married? Too many things to
Yeah.
do. Even Bible says
Exactly.
we that are married should live like we are not married, which means singleness is a state of mind too, and is a good
Mm,
state. So
mm,
If you are not married, why not invest on yourself? Why not develop yourself? Develop your mental capacity, develop
Yeah.
yourself psychologically, improve yourself academically. If you want to pursue a career, why not do that? And
Mm.
stop saying somebody is coming. And not this madam of your house. I've come to discover that there's no absolute freedom anywhere.
Truth.
Whether you are single or you are married, you are answerable to somebody. Will
Oh
a man
yeah.
just leave his house and not say I'm going somewhere and he will say because I'm married now I can go? No, even if he doesn't tell people before, he must tell
Mm-hmm.
the people in his house, I'm going now, I'm coming back sometime,
Yeah.
so time. So there's no absolute freedom anywhere. So I
Mm.
feel that even singles have that freedom more than
Mm.
the married. So they can
That's right.
enjoy their single life if they want to live, if they know the purpose of being single and they have vision of what they want to become. So you start
Right.
uh, pursuing your vision while you are single, not in marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel
Amazing.
you can be fulfilled as a single depending on your understanding and your perspective. After all,
Cool.
God created Adam as a single man before he brought him marriage. And remember,
Mm.
Adam never complained to him that he
That's
needed it,
right.
which means he was fulfilled. So we can't
Mm-hmm.
be wiser than God. I
True.
don't know if I've answered that
Amazing.
question.
Oh yes, you have answered. You have answered. In fact, before you reiterated that point, the first time you said it, it touched me when you said Adam did not go complaining to God that he needed. It was God who knew that it was time that this guy needed somebody to. He was already doing the things that God placed him in the garden to do. And then at some point, maybe God felt the work was much. Maybe God felt, oh, okay, like the Bible talked about God seeing that of all the things he made, no one was like Adam. So he decided to give him somebody like himself.
But
Okay,
he was
so
happy.
yes, he
He
was
was
happy on
happy
his
and
own.
fulfilled.
He was. He was. At least from what we could deduct from the Bible. Okay, so there was also something you talked about when you talked about the social media influencing people, and I think that's a major thing. Way back when we're in school, we of course I had a roommate, two of us girls living off campus. Of course, the building was a bungalow that had various rooms, and you discover that I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was, but it's of course it didn't start in my own time. It must have started before my time. You discover that a young girl was sent to school to come and study, but then she would leave the campus or her own room and move in with a guy. That's this cohabiting stuff that I mentioned earlier. And will be playing wife to somebody who I don't know. That part, I don't know what gives them the feeling that they I don't know whether it's a feeling, whether it's a mind, like you said, a mindset that they cannot just stay in school all through the 4 years or 5 years or 6 years, whatever time they have to spend it, and actually even concentrate on their studies. The reason why they are in school, but then they have to go play wife somewhere, wash somebody's clothes, cook his meals, of course, have sex in that context, and then after some time, you discover, oh, this guy is not even staying in school. He's not even studying. He's just playing wife with somebody else. And then you discover that he has moved on to somebody else. Hello, sorry about that. Okay. So I don't know how
Network.
do we convey this message? Never a quarrel. Okay, so the first time I ever had a quarrel with someone on social media, it was something to do with this topic. Somebody posted something and a young girl made a comment, and then I went under her comments and tried to talk. Then I did not know there was something called called internet trolls. So I went under the comment to try to say, don't do something like this, blah 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 blah. And then she came at me. please carry your wahala and blah blah. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Before you could say Jack Robinson, like they say, she had brought so many other people under my comments. They were abusing me. They were doing all sorts. So these days I'm careful on social media. The only way I convey my thoughts now is sharing it on my wall and then try to share it so that more people can see, because it looks, everybody's sensitive at this time. If you try to correct something, people are touchy, people are, they don't want you to go close to any of the things that they feel it's a challenge. So I don't know, first we are trying to address the people in school. Your parents sent you to school to go and study. You get to school, instead of you to stay focused, you become a wife to somebody. Sometimes it ends up in marriage, at other times it doesn't. How do we convince young girls today that I don't know how to send a message across that there is more to their lives than sharing it with
Marriage.
a man? And sometimes, mommy, it's not because these people don't have money, because we have issues of people who also, their problem is that they are lacking in finances, so maybe that draws them close to a man. But there are people that their parents are comfortable, they give them everything they need. Your own is just go to school and study. But then they get there, instead of focusing on what they went to do, it's something else. They begin to attach themselves. And this leads to a whole lot of issues: heartbreaks, depression, emotional issues. How do we try to talk to the people in school? And then we'll bring it back to those of us who have our phones in our hands, that internet is influencing.
So sorry, there was a break in network. Can you
Yes,
just
yes,
summarize
ma'am.
the question?
Okay, so the question is, like I was talking about the students, the girls in school. I don't know why I'm talking to the girls, because I always have this feeling that when things go wrong, the girls are the most affected usually. Yeah, the
Mhm.
guys also have their own issues, but I basically will talk to the girls. How do we address them? How do we help them realize that when you're asked, especially to go to school, I'm talking about those ones who go to the universities, because in their houses they are saints, but when they go out there, you discover that before they know it, they get involved, with things that they should not bother themselves. And you see a whole lot of brilliant young girls go to school. But before you know it, because of some of these entanglements, they begin to fall short in their academics, and all that. And the reason their parents must have sent them, obviously, is so that they can become something important to them, so on and so forth. But then by the time they start getting entangled, there's a whole lot of issues. How do we help them to stay focused in school, leave relationship till when it is time? I don't know.
Like what you are doing now already, you are helping
Yes,
them.
yes, ma'am. Okay.
Like we can use our social media platforms to reach out to
Okay.
them, like this
Okay.
video, like writing. If you are good in
Mm-hmm.
writing books, if they are around you, you can talk to them like I do with
Right.
some. Then second,
Okay.
another thing is that you can even organize programs, like you go to school, say you can
Okay.
have some, like an initiative, you can just target guest child initiative, something, just give it a name, go to
Yeah.
school, talk to them. As you are talking, one or two we pick. But the bottom
True.
line of this problem is that our parents make us females feel that all we are living for is for the man.
True. True.
They don't make us, like when I was growing up, everything you do, somebody will tell you, remember, you are going to be somebody's husband. Nobody will take
Yes,
this
ma'am.
from you. You are
Mm-hmm.
a girl, you cannot do this. If you are even
Mm.
angry, even in my own culture, sometimes some girls that are stubborn, they will say, you are a girl, oh, a girl cannot be stubborn. This thing you are doing. Nobody puts a picture of what you can be before you. They
Mm.
put the picture of husband, husband,
Husband.
husband. Everything they are
Mm.
telling you, they won't even allow you know that you have a life to live. Is how you be a
Yeah.
good wife, how you know man will take it
Mm.
from you. So we are programmed towards that. So even
Right.
when parents are okay and they program us towards that, sometimes when we have opportunities like this is my life, I just have to follow it. So we that are having some understanding, maybe let me say working understanding, we can talk to the
Mm.
people around us.
Mm-hmm.
We can reach out to them. You know, truth is always bitter. Sometimes you
Yes,
say the
ma'am.
truth, people will be
Mm-hmm.
angry. But
Yeah.
there's what you call advocacy in counseling. There are times
Okay.
they say, you just say it, even if they don't accept it today, tomorrow they might accept it.
They might. Right.
So somebody is angry, is see a human being, doesn't mean he cannot go back or she cannot go back and reflect on what you have said. So I feel
Yeah.
we can reach out to them, those around us, we can counsel them. What is counsel is just advice. When you are counseling people, you don't force your will on them. You advise
Right.
them to see the advantage of what you are saying. And if they don't do it, the job of counseling is not enforcing.
Actually.
And you
Right.
don't enforce things on adults,
Mm-hmm.
you advise. So we can
Right.
counsel them to see why it is good to go this way.
Yeah.
We can
Mm-hmm.
counsel young girls around us that they have a life to live. And you know, that
Mm.
thing is so bad that even in the church, when you ask people who want financial breakthrough to come out for prayers, you see women, some women pushing their husband to go out. And
Mm.
they are not entitled to blessing. But my
Mm.
understanding of the Bible is that God blessed both Adam and Eve.
Both male and female. Mm.
So I think the society, our upbringing, and so many things have affected us. And it
Mm.
will take time for us to get out of it. So when you see a child that gets to school and start doing that, and not because of money, how is that girl child raised at home? What is placed before that girl child? And the another silent thing, do parents really give attention to their children? Do they really express love?
Mm. Mm.
Imagine a girl child that is not shown love at home, even though the
Mm.
parents love them, and gets to campus and somebody is singing love left, right, center. Oh, it's bound
Right.
for that girl child as a big girl now to fall. Because
Mm-hmm.
we beings, we love to be appreciated.
Yeah,
We
true.
love to be loved.
So true.
So
So true.
many things have to do with our background, but we can still rectify. We can
Right.
cancel, we can do talks, we can have seminars, we can go to school, we can do write up. And like what you are doing right away is part of the way
Right.
of addressing it. At least this is your wall. You
Right.
have the right to post what you
Yeah,
want on your wall.
that's right. That's
I don't
right.
know if
Okay. Yes, ma'am. You're hitting the right notes, ma'am. God bless you so much. Okay,
thank
so like the part two of what I was trying to share is what I was trying to share was the internet influence. You did mention that at some point when you were talking. Now we have the internet, the whole world on the palm of our hands.
okay.
Naturally, people go online, and what attracts them most, or what they find attractive the most, is the flashiness. I have personally growing up, if I had to share my dreams with the world, in fact, there's a seminar, a group I'm going to be discussing with this Sunday, and the topic I was given to discuss is how big is your dream? And then the first thing that comes to mind is to ask women growing up, what was your dream? What did you see growing up as a young girl? I sincerely am not where I thought I was going to be. I'm grateful to God for where I am, especially for the fact that there's life. Okay, but growing up, I had this. Honestly, mommy, there was no marriage was not in the dream, and I don't know why, because I had parents that were obviously very married, Christian parents. In fact, I used to share with people that there was a time in my life, I was helping my mom who's late now, in the kitchen. I was helping her out as she was preparing meals. And then I said, I don't want to get married. My mom just said, the blood of Jesus. Oh yeah, leave that thing you're doing. Leave, don't touch any of my things. Go away. Go and start praying and canceling it. Whatever spirit is there. I don't know where it came from, but I had this mindset. I wanted to be somebody great. I wanted to do great things. I don't know
Mm,
how in today's world, what we see now is, oh, couple goals, this that marriage is beautiful, no doubt. But then how do we, the purpose of this discussion today is to just keep drumming it into the ears of our single girls, especially the single guys too, but obviously like we said earlier, the girls are always at the end of the bond. They are the most hit when things go wrong. So how do we help them to see the Okonjo Iwealas of today, that they had a dream before obviously they got married, and then somehow they were able to hold on to those dreams, and marriage couldn't sway or change their dreams? Something must have prompted an Okonjo Iweala to be able to hold on to her dreams, even in marriage. And she's not the only one. There are so many people, so many women. You're there, mommy, you're holding on to your dreams even after marriage. Yes, after marriage, you're still encouraging, counseling young people. But then there are people who believe that if they've not gotten married, that the only thing, they just sit down, fold their arms, and just sit down and wait for marriage. And then the internet also gives the impression, so also our home videos, that a young girl will be on the street crying, poor. Somebody will just appear from nowhere. He's a prince and he proposes marriage and takes her out of poverty. And so how do we help people to change this dream of just, I know, yes, we are doing it already with this discussion, but then we need to have more of this kind of we need to have more people saying what we're saying. Am I
Yeah.
answering the question? Okay, so we need to have more people saying what we're saying. We need to have more people doing what we're doing. This enlightenment aspect. Okay, so where do we take these messages to? To schools, to churches? How do we help churches to infuse more of this in their messages, other than, because sometimes it does appear that the church loses focus of the young ones. The young ones are, they wait until when those ones that are ready to bring finance into the church, prosperity. We are doing prosperity, we are doing heaven. Heaven is wonderful, and we all aspire to be there with Jesus someday. But then there's a crop of people that we are leaving behind because we're not giving them the right programs. How do we help to bring in programs that would constantly make these ones think greatness beyond marriage, think wholesomeness beyond marriage, think emotional? Because sometimes if these things are not handled, they show up in the marriage eventually. So how can we, as a pastor's wife, as a mommy, first lady of the church, how can we bring in more programs to help young people prepare?
Okay, let me react
Yeah.
to that. Point of correction, I'm just a handmaid of the Lord, not a first
Okay,
lady.
ma'am. Ah,
You know,
okay.
I don't even want to use the title. I just use it because
Okay.
of it.
Yeah, you said so.
Like I used to tell them in church that we are all co-laborers. God just put someone
Mm,
here to be a supervisor.
true. True.
And so we are all children of
True.
God. For
That's
the
right.
social media, I want to react this way. Social media has come to stay, and there's nothing we can do about it. You see,
Yeah.
as this social media, whatever you want, if you want to be bad, is there. If you want to be good, is
Mm-hmm.
there. Like I have
Mm-hmm.
a hobby of, one of my hobbies is reading. I read a lot. We can encourage our young ones to follow people that can fix it into their dream or vision for life. Like
Okay.
I'm following Ben Tracy because he's
Okay.
an author,
Yeah.
he's a speaker.
He's a coach.
So
Yeah.
I listen to his, I read about him. I watch his videos because he used to do
Mm-hmm.
small, small clips of videos for those of us who are learning. Like I
Okay.
was so tired 2 days ago. There is a class on branding
Okay.
around
Wow.
12 a.m. because
Wow.
we have to encourage them to use this social media to their own
To
advantage.
their advantage, right?
So you can, and I follow John Maxwell because
Mm.
I like his
Leadership.
leadership skill. I
Yeah.
follow some people for one reason or the other. So we can let them know that they are not on social media just for fun or the flashy aspect of life.
Right.
But there are a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things they can do on social media. You can train yourself on social media. You
True.
can do
Very
online
true.
training. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
professional counselor. I have my degree in guidance and counseling, but I can still develop myself under
True.
other counselors.
Right.
that have gone ahead of me. So we have to put it to them. What are your aspirations for life? What do you want
Mm.
to become? Then follow such experts on social media.
Right.
And it's you and reading too, there's Google will say, ask me. Ask me.
Mm.
Apart
Mm.
from following people, your aspiration, you can read so much about it.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, you can't hoard information these days.
No.
So we
No.
can enlighten our youth to have a vision and follow it.
Right.
That with the aid of social media, you can download books and so many things. Then in our churches, in our departments, we can create avenue to reach out on our own, even if we are
Mm-hmm.
not pastors. You
Yeah.
maybe you are a chorister. There are youths in the that department, in the music department. You that you feel God has enlightened you in some area, you can disciple some people. The Bible said,
True.
Deborah said, until I, Deborah, arise as a
And
mother in
mm.
Israel. So
It's right.
wherever we find ourselves, if we know we have something to offer to this youth, let us do it. It's not
Okay.
until we climb the pulpit before we can carry our influence.
True. Very true.
So that is that we can enlighten them, we can reach out, we can with if the same social media we can use it to, I was going through my social media list. I discovered that a lot of my friends are old, and it's like,
Oh goodness
because
me.
I feel I have something to offer more to the youth,
To the
whether
youth.
young
Yeah.
men or young women, married or single,
Mm-hmm.
than grandmothers
Mm-hmm.
like me who have.
Okay.
Do you
Okay.
understand what I'm
Yes,
saying?
ma. Yes,
So
ma.
that is that on social media, we can guide them. We can,
Okay.
you can use your wall, you can use one-on-one, you can have special programs.
Mm.
There's what you call to be volunteer job. You can organize something
True.
even on your street and gather the
Mm-hmm.
youths and talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
Just get some small, small snacks. Say we are on this street, we are doing this at so time. They will come and
Okay.
you give them value. It's not all about church. Even on your
Yeah.
street, you can still give value. Even in
True.
your community, wherever your place of work, you can still give value. So I feel
Okay.
those of us that feel we have so much, we should not go to the grave with what we have. We
True.
should reach out
Right.
to others. Then I want to say
Right.
something. Yes, the
Okay.
girl child is at the receiving, the females are at the receiving side, but at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
the men too are not exempted.
True.
Because if you are a man and you these days we have a working generation and you don't invest in yourself, you go into marriage, you are going to have problem in that marriage. And that is why even now some marriages are breaking off. Marriages of 3 years, for 2 years, they have gone different ways. So where marriage is 2, 3 years, is it not for young people?
Mm-hmm.
It's for young people. So even this, in spite the fact that women are the receiving end, the men too cannot say they are not getting the hits if they don't do the right thing. Because
Right.
I used to say that for a man to marry one, two, three, then I believe that man has a problem.
Mm.
So a lot of this
Mm.
problem, if men work on single, and that is why your singleness have a lot to do with how your marriage works.
Right.
If your singleness is not well developed, what do you have to offer to that marriage? Then your marriage
True.
might have problem. And that is
Mm-hmm.
why God brought in a single man before bringing marriage. And I have not seen a married person who has never been single. So if
Right.
so this singleness involve both men and women investing on themselves. And that
Right.
women should know that life is not, and both men and women should know that everything is not all about marriage. Ruth
Right.
Elton didn't marry, Jesus didn't
Mm.
marry, Paul didn't marry. Maurice Lesser didn't marry, and we are still talking about her till today, reading books
Mm.
about her. So
Mm-hmm.
everything is not all about marriage.
That's right.
And
Amazing.
everything is
Okay.
not all about being flashy.
Mm. Okay, ma'am. Before we round up, because we said it was going to be an hour, but before you know it, and 1 hour just goes by very quickly. Have about 15 minutes to the end of this hour. So I'd like you to take about 5 minutes and speak to single people. Speak to single people. You've talked about them reading. You've talked about mentorship, people mentoring young, especially people who have this passion to invest into young people. I read the story, or was it on the news, that I saw a young man that goes to the slums of Oshodi to pick up Oshodi here in Lagos, to pick
Mhm.
up young guys and prepare them for chess championships, chess competitions, and a whole lot of young children have been gotten out of that slum because of that chess. So there are people that have this thing inside of them, and then there are also people that these things are meant for, who somehow they are looking forward. God, when will I meet somebody that will take me out of this situation, not just maritally, but career wise, emotionally. They need someone. I'd like you to speak into young people at this time, the young unmarried young man, the young unmarried young lady, on how to, both emotionally, temperamentally, because it's important to understand. If you do not understand your temperament even before you go into a marriage, it's a big problem. It's a very big problem, because if you don't understand your temper. When I was very young, I read the book by Tim LaHaye, The Spirit Control Temperament. I read a whole My father had a whole lot of books we were reading. I read about knowing your temperaments. I read about the spirit control temperaments, and I got to read about the different kinds of temperaments. And as I was reading, I was mirroring what I already knew of myself against the backdrop of what I was reading. But today it's hardly like that. People just come on social media, laugh, and then I do social media too. I go on Instagram, I go through people's profiles, but then at the end of the day, there's still something somewhere. I know who I am. I don't get lost in. But the social media is a huge influencer. So I'd like you to quickly speak to young people, the young man, the young woman who will be seeing this video, maybe after now. We don't know years from now whose hand it to get into, because it's online now. The online space is very wide. So I'd like you to speak into them on how they can mentally, emotionally invest in themselves, in their career, in their spirituality as well, so that they become whole as a person, fulfilled. And then when the time comes, unfortunately, sometimes you can actually prepare yourself, but the person who comes to you, or who, I don't want to say who God brings your way, because okay, it could actually still be God, or whoever the person meets eventually may not be as prepared as you are. And if you're not strong, that could derail you from everything you ever thought you knew. So I'd like you to speak into young people, and if possible, say a prayer for them, as we begin to round off this session.
Okay. Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome, ma'am.
I want to encourage the single young people. Some people are equally single that are not young, because there
Okay,
are people
true,
that are not
true. Yeah,
married.
you did say
People.
so. Yeah,
So I want
yeah,
everyone that is single to know that being single is not a curse.
right.
And we must all know that all of us will not married.
Mm,
But one thing that is basic is that all of us can live a fulfilled life. And that I want every single person in the house to know that marriage is not the grant for fulfillment. The grant for
mm.
fulfillment is the investment you give to yourself by developing yourself and what you offer in that marriage and marrying the right person.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
I want to encourage the single people not to allow the society, their family, or the culture to put pressure on them. Because sometimes people marry wrongly because they feel they're of age. Please, what is the
Very
age
true.
and who sets the
Mm,
of the age? The Bible didn't
mm,
tell us at which age Adam married.
mm.
That we are seeing day one, day two, day three does not actually mean everything is happening in 1 day, 2 days, 3 days.
Mm.
So I want to encourage, don't ever allow anybody pressure you into marriage, and nobody should make you feel that being single is a bad thing. Sometimes they even feel that if you are not married, you are wasting your life. Where did they get that?
Mm. Oh gosh. Mm.
If you are not married, please invest on yourself emotionally. And God
Mm.
will bring the right person that deserve you. Sometimes the people who are well prepared, who have developed themselves, enter into the wrong hands because society has made them to even put pressure on themselves,
Themselves. True.
because they are feeling, because I'm not married, I'm cursed. Says who? Was Adam
Or
cursed
something
as a
is wrong with
single
me.
person?
Mm.
I feel that they should not allow anybody pressurize them. They should. And during this singleness, it's not the time to live a worthless life, because the
Mm.
choice you make today is going to affect your tomorrow. Being single is
Right.
not a time to be sleeping around because you feel you are not married, you can change girls, you can change men. No, you are laying a very bad foundation for your tomorrow, even for your marriage.
Right.
So being single is a time to focus on what you want to become.
Right.
What do you want? What kind of home do you want? What kind of man do you want? What kind of woman do you want? So I want to say that there is no stipulated age for singleness. I have
Yeah.
some people that senior me that are not married.
True.
And it doesn't mean they won't marry, and it doesn't mean they are cursed. It doesn't mean they
Mm-hmm.
can't be fulfilled. So, how do you do this? Give yourself to God. Number one, be connected. What kept Adam well in the garden was he was in the presence of God.
Mm.
The major need of man is God. Once you are
Right.
connected and you are doing what God wants you to do at the right time, you will marry. God will bring the right person. God was Adam's priority. God was everything he needs, and that was why he could do everything. So, for every single, I encourage them to focus on God, be connected, develop yourself spiritually, invest yourself emotionally. In fact, when you are connected spiritually, it will help you take care of other things. Adam never even stayed anywhere and said, God, I need a wife. But because God was everything he wanted and he was in the will of
Mm.
God, doing what God wants him to do, at a stage, God gave him wife as a blessing, as a plus. So you shouldn't say because I'm single, by this age, I should be married, and you just be looking for husband or looking for wife instead of personal development. You can't see me that I'm serious in life and you now marry me and say I should be something else. It won't work. I don't know, especially for women. How can I
Mm-hmm.
be working, or I'm serious with my business, and you are now coming to me? You see me, I'm serious, and you say you want a full-time housewife. How will it work? Did you see me as somebody who is not doing anything?
Mm.
So let them put God first. Let them avoid all this useless life of smoking, drug, clubbing, and invest positively on themselves. At the right time, the right person will come. Somebody who like them for who they are will come. And I'm not putting age to that. We have a man of
Right.
God in this country that married a wife, and the wife was 65 when he married her.
Mm.
And she has never been married before. So I can't put age to
Wow.
singleness.
Mm.
So that's I don't know if I've wrapped it up well.
Yes,
God,
ma'am.
personal development, career, academics, get busy. The truth is that even those that are married, if you are very hardworking, to even meet up sexually is not easy. So
Mm.
when you are single and you are occupied, all those lives, you won't have time for it.
True. True.
and God is your focus. I don't know if you are
Yes,
okay with.
ma'am. Yeah, completely, completely. Thank you so much, ma. Okay. So there you have it. Singles out there, whether young or old, discover something you're passionate about and pursue it. Pursue it tenaciously. If it is, thank God for internet, like mommy said earlier. You can be learning anything online. You can, and if you're really serious about learning something, you won't have time for some frivolities. So please focus on, find something you're passionate about. Yes, sometimes we may not have the money, the resources to pursue some things, but there are times I come online and I see people begging, maybe somebody saying, I've not eaten for 3 days, or buy me drug. I see that usually on Instagram. When somebody posts something, especially all these stars, if you go to the comment section, you see somebody say, I've not eaten for 3 days, I've not eaten for 2 days, just put 1,000 naira into my account, I want to buy drugs. And then people will say, but you had money to buy data to come online here to come and post that. So sometimes what is most important to you is what you would give attention to. So they may have the money, you have the money to buy data, and then instead of using it to study something or improving on themselves, they use it to browse, and by the time they realize it and the data is saying you have so whatever remaining, you now remember, oh, there was actually a reason why I bought this data, and you now say, oh, I did not have data to do. So you need to set your priorities right. If we set our priorities right, it will be easy for us to do things at the right time. Because the Bible says, remember your creator. The other day I was cooking and that thought, and that scripture came to my mind. Remember your creator. I was like, it's not only about creator. Remember also the things you need to pursue in your singlehood. Because time will come. When you eventually get married, then you're thinking, oh, maybe when I get married, I will do this. I'll marry a rich man that will be able to do this and do that. If you feel like you want to travel the world, try and do things. Don't save anything for marriage. As in, don't save your dreams until marriage. Begin to dream about it and actualize the ones you can now, because what you're saving for marriage may never see the light of day. I'm sorry to say, but that is the truth. I have learned that sometimes if you feel that, oh, when the person now comes, then yes, the Bible says one will chase his thousands, two will chase their 10,000. But if we have not even been able to chase 8,000, how will you help somebody to chase 5,000 that both of you will now get to, as in for 5,000 to get 10,000? Okay, so it's been a beautiful, I don't know, Mom, if you still want to say something at this point.
I don't know if
Okay,
I've
so
satisfied you with everything I
yes,
said.
ma'am. Yes, you did. You did. Everything about investing in, that's what we're talking about. Being single and loving it is, when you're single and you're able to dream something and then you work towards it and you get it. There's this satisfaction that comes. I don't know about some people, but for me, especially even in marriage, if I think of something and I'm thinking of how to get it done without even asking my husband, if I get it done, the joy I get is bigger than the one I get if he had to help me get it. So that's
Yeah.
that thing you were saying, that even in marriage, your singlehood is important. Even you need to also be fulfilled in yourself as a person without expecting the other person to bring you joy or fulfillment. So it's important to that mindset. You have to carry it everywhere. But if you begin to think, oh, a man will do this for me, the frustration that is waiting will be catastrophic. Okay, so thank you so much, Mommy, for sharing
Thank
all that you've shared. You talked about your book, the for
you.
singles, and then the one
The
that's coming out
enlightened
for
single. Mm.
the enlightened single. Okay, is it
The next
an
one is
ebook?
the last enlightened parent.
The enlightened, is it an ebook or a hard copy book? And where
The,
can people
the
get them?
enlightened single is an ebook. It's already
Okay,
online. Mhm.
okay, ma.
But
We'll probably
the
send the link to me so I can share it in the comment section for people to be able to get them.
okay, thank you.
Yes, ma. Thank you so very much for coming. We appreciate you. God bless you. Love to daddy and love to everyone at home.
Thank you. My regards
Okay.
to
God
your
bless you,
family.
ma.
Thank
They'll
you.
hear, ma. All
God
right.
bless.
Bye for now.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, that has been our show for today. We've learned a whole lot. Okay, so for me, who used to just classify singles as young or married people, today it has changed. The narrative has changed because there are elderly people too. older people, so to speak, who are unmarried, and so they are single, especially if they are not actively sexual participating in sexual practices. Okay, so I know that she has shared a lot, and we have said a lot on the show today. If you're a single person waiting on the Lord for that time when you become joined with your spouse, you can be doing a whole lot at this time. When we're growing up, we learned a lot in church. I thank God for my background. We learned a lot in church. We learned that you can be doing a whole lot of things. You can learn, if schooling is not working for you, pick up a craft, get busy doing something, get busy, and in all you're getting, get understanding, because along the line, if you could meet people who their job is to come and sway you out of the things that you've been taught, you need to be careful and guard that jealously. Get a craft, be good at it, be excellent at it. Pick up a new course, study something. When you're online and you're viewing people on Instagram, on Twitter, on wherever, let your focus be, don't just get derailed by the things that you see. Be focused. First of all, know what you want out of life and pursue it. Know what you want out of life. If that's a very important point, because if you don't, even when you do get married, marriage will let's not go there. It is well. God will help all of us. So if you know what you want out of life, pursue it. And then when the person comes, it becomes a compliment to you. Not that they are coming, to dictate what your life will be for you. You don't wait for anybody to design, decorate, and whatever. If that happens for you, I'm happy for you. God bless you, and God bless whoever it is that comes into your life. But you have to purposely make something out of your life. You have to have a dream that you hold on to and you're pursuing no matter what happens. Somebody gave an instance of a naira note, a currency. If you get it, it's the value of that money is the value it is. Even if it is crumpled, whenever you bring it, it will still be able to give you the value of what that currency can give. That should be you. You should know what you carry, know your value, so that no matter what comes or doesn't come, your value remains what it is. You're worth what you're worth, irrespective of the people that come into your life or do not come into it. So I want to say thank you to everyone that joined. I'll quickly read. I'll quickly read. Okay. Someone said singleness is a state of mind, an investment time, a good time to discover who you really are. That's from Caleb Muze. I hope I got that correctly. Caleb Muze still said, Pastor Joy, may God bless you with more knowledge in Jesus' name. He also went further to say, Mrs. Peace, thank you for bringing her here at this time. Thank you, Caleb Muze. God bless Pastor Joy indeed in Jesus' name. Amen. Maybe thank you for being with us. My friend David Joy says it is a mindset, and yes, it is. Thank you, Uche Owen, Chris Mamodu. David Joy says, as a single lady, think and work towards being financially independent. You will definitely thank me later when you're married. Yes, that's another one. We should work towards being financially independent. That's the one aspect people never talk about when we're coming from my own kind of background. We're always being prepared for marriage. And everything we knew was how to maintain a home, how to love your husband, how to submit, how to cook, how to clean, how to take care of the children when they come, wash, and all that. But the aspect of being financially independent, some of us picked along the way. Maybe when we watch our mothers, or we caught a glimpse of what it felt like being financially independent, and we wanted it as well. But my friend here is saying, work towards being financially independent. I'm working till tomorrow. It's something that I desire, to get to that point where I'll be able to say, I don't need a man to come and do for me the things that I should be able to do for myself. If it comes, like I've heard in some marriage posts, if it comes, you're grateful. But if it doesn't, you know that you can carry out your own things, solve your problems yourself without necessarily having to depend on anyone. And that is not to say that you will not be humble. No, it just says you know that God created you to be dependent, to be self-dependent before any other help comes. Like part of what mommy has said in the discussion, talking about Adam being self-dependent. He was happy tending to the animals, naming them, tending them, until one day God said, this guy is busy playing with lion and playing with goats. He doesn't know that he's not one of them. So let's make him somebody that looks like him so that he will learn to, God saw that he was appreciative of the environment he had and gave him a little extra. The woman was another, a little extra that God had to give to him. I'm not just preaching and I'm not trying to deliver more lecture than she has done. It's just something that is a huge burden too. I want to see young people, young women think beyond when I marry. There's so much more to you than being married. Find your purpose in your singlehood and enjoy it. Take yourself out, and you cannot take yourself out if you're not financially independent. You cannot do that. Like during the Valentine, I was asking last week, how many some who took themselves, who read, invest in yourself. An investment does not have to cost so much money. It can be as little as you get data and you decide, oh, I want to read this book. I want to buy even if it's a fairly used book, they sell them at bus stops. Invest in yourself. Most of the grammar I can speak today is because of the books I have read. I have traveled the world through books. It's interesting. Invest in yourself so that if whatever else comes, you're grateful. But if it doesn't come, you're fulfilled, you're happy. I am fulfilled. I'm happier when I'm by myself than when I have a whole lot of crowd of people around me. Okay. So God bless you. The right person will come at the right time, and there's no age for the right time. I'm putting mommy on that one. There's no age. It can be at any time. Let me not even peg any age to say that nobody will quote me tomorrow. It can be at any time. She did talk about somebody that got married at 65. I think I saw another story too of a lady that got married for the first time. I think she's in her 50s or 60s as well. So who says that you cannot be fulfilled? She was living her life, meeting needs around her, community things, reaching out, serving in church, serving wherever volunteers were needed. And when it was time, she's with somebody who makes her happy. Sometimes because of these pressures, we fall into situations that will keep us frustrated the rest of our lives. God will help us. Thank you, each and every one of you, for your likes, for your comments, for the love that I see. I'm seeing the emojis. And for the care, thank you so much. I appreciate. One thing I'd like you to do for me is share this video. Whenever you see, just share. Share. I've done my part by bringing our guests to come and speak to us, and I've shared from my heart. What you can do is to also share. There are people, single people on your timeline that need to see this. So do share so that they can enjoy this discussion today and also take the lessons that come with it. God bless you all for being a part of today. I'll be here again next week. And next week, we are entering a new month. And like I said at the beginning of the year, for every month, there's a theme. This month we've talked about building healthy relationships. Today, being single and loving it is building a healthy relationship with yourself. You can't give what you don't have. If you are not in a healthy relationship with yourself, you can't be in a healthy relationship with somebody else. Okay, so next month we're going to be touching on mental health, maybe in one or two, looking at it from one or two aspects. I'll be coming your way again next week, God willing. And like I always say, be good, be kind, be the reason someone has a huge smile on their face and someone goes to bed with a smile on their face. Thank you so much. I love you. God bless you.